Hey guys, it's Vanessa V. Welcome to the Crown Survivalist channel. Before we move forward, I just want to apologize to you as someone who has joined in on this YouTube journey with me. I want to apologize for not being more clear about that when I stopped posting for a few weeks until today. You are always on my mind. The things that I go through, I instantly think, I have to share how I'm dealing with this because I am dealing with this. I am surviving and quite oftentimes thriving, even if it doesn't feel that way. I know in the marathon of the journey of life, I am thriving and learning how to in the future. I want to explain to you a little bit why I didn't post for a few weeks because I want to be clear and honest with you, of course, but I also think that a lot of you guys probably react to a chaotic, negative season of your life in a similar way. And if not, or maybe you know someone else that does, it can help you understand it a little bit better. I have found for myself that when I am hit with a lot of challenges, I tend to shut down a little bit because I think my brain is trying to conserve energy, mental, physical, and emotional energy. And so I shut down, I turn inwards because I'm so I can't say obsessed, but I am just so focused on not having these problems and fixing them and figuring out how to handle everything and still be able to function and be my best self. I can't keep freezing, and that's what I do. We've talked about the survival mode, right? And it's out there, right? A lot of people talk about it a lot more now. So that's flight, fight, or freeze. Freezing, I want to bring that up because maybe you do that too. I think because I am so assertive, I am so driven, I compete with myself all the time. Nobody else, just me. I have goals and I do not want my life to be run by my trauma anymore. Well, I never did, but now that I have the tools, absolutely, let's go full throttle. This is my full-time job, as I've shared with you guys. I think a lot of what occurs when I am just bogged down and I don't know what to do, and I'm a recovering perfectionist. I tend to freeze, and I don't know it. I just think, I'm gonna take a pause. I'm gonna set that aside. I'm gonna do something else. I might distract. Whatever helps me reset my baseline. But then I end up freezing on almost everything or not really doing a lot because I'll do a little here and then whoop, and then do a little here and whoop. And that definitely plays into the channel, this channel, because a lot of my reactions are to freeze, right? I want to share with you. It won't be perfect though. So no, can't do that. Got to move on. And even though I call myself a recovering perfectionist, and this channel is not about being perfect, it's almost like I'm trying to be a perfect recovering perfectionist where I don't even realize it. I'm just like, okay, well that chat won't be as perfect, but it could be better. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it could be better. So I won't do that. And that applies to almost everything. And then I start to get overwhelmed. And then I don't know what to do. My brain feels messy. Emotionally, I'm messy. And then I have to put my mental health first. That is a rule that I have for myself, having to fight through all of that. Like I know you, probably some of you, a lot of you, all of you have to deal with as well, especially if you've had a trauma history. But then it tends to mean that other stuff that's important gets pushed to the wayside. but I cannot allow myself to spin out of and into, out of control of my stress and anxiety and into the world of my trauma. I always have to check it and make it small, as we've talked about. So that's one reason that I didn't post any chats. The other reason, and you might deal with this as well, is negative talk. Not feeling as though I deal a lot with not feeling worthy enough or like I have worth. I know I do. But when it feels as though most people don't act as though I have worth, and in fact do the opposite to try to erode any confidence I might have, or to tell me that I do not have worth, verbally or nonverbal. That happened and has happened recently. And so that has added to the work that I have had to do. It's taken time, energy, mentally, physically, and emotionally, to not buy into that. And with the trauma history, there is such and so many facets of negative identity that I learned along the way, that I have had to undo along the way, since figuring out that it's basically the trauma talking to me, not logic or reality, when it comes to my worth and what I have to offer, and that it's okay for me to have a voice. Even when, because I know that innately, other people don't want me to feel as though it's okay to have a voice or to have a voice at all. So I am working on that, and I have had to work on that. So that has also clouded and swirled up everything about me, trying to figure that out, trying to find, the balance on the compass to continue to head forward without just setting it aside and not acknowledging it or working through it, because I need these experiences. If they're going to come, right? It's so important for you to use the experiences that you're going through now in the bestest, most healthiest way you can, so that you can use what you learn now for the future, because it's probably going to happen again. And if all you do is avoid or react the same way every time in a non-healthy way, you won't grow. Those challenges will continue to control you. And I do not want that. I want to be in control as much as I can, right? Not somebody else. And certainly not people who are trying to use me to boost themselves at my expense. I will boost you. Let me boost you. Absolutely 100%. I want to boost you. I want to help you rise higher. I want to give you love and encouragement and support. But do not strip it from me. No thanks. It takes a lot of trust to use the situations that you're going through right now as information and tools. We've all had negative things occur to us. I don't care who you are, you have. And those negative things can really affect you. And if they are not counteracted, especially in the moment, they can really, truly inform what your brain believes to be facts. Now, that can be about anything, but right now we're talking about you and your self-identity, your rules that you self-impose upon yourself that we've talked about. And when you're growing up or in a situation, you can believe it, especially if things that occur underscore those lessons that you're learning. And it can be a lot to undo those things. And I have found that for myself. Absolutely, yes, that's the case. For me, when I'm on my own, oh my gosh, absolutely. I know I'm super creative. I have worth. I have a voice. I have value. But when it comes to how other people view me, I instantly, just based on my trauma and my history, I know that other people are not going to see that, and that's fine until they make it my problem, and then it's not fine. So then I have to work through that. And it can be very easy to believe, right? Separating out what is accurate about yourself and what is inaccurate about yourself. Understanding when when the trauma is talking, learning its language, learning its voice. That can be very difficult, especially if you haven't learned to check those thoughts and that voice. It can become so intertwined with your reality about yourself that it can take you a really long time. And I'm still doing that. I'm still trying to learn when the trauma is talking and when it isn't. And we discussed, you know, when your brain tries to fool you, right? I'll link that below. This is part of that. And so when other people, it feels like the world is telling you and matching up with the trauma talk, the negative things you've learned about yourself along the way that probably aren't true. When other people are underscoring that and trying to tell you that, verbally or non-verbally, that's when it gets really hard. And that also feeds into me freezing. Sometimes, quite often, physically. I used to be frozen all the time. I had to unlearn that. It took me 2 years at the beginning of my treatment with PTSD to learn to unfreeze my body. If you're a person that tends to freeze as well, or hermit crab, I call it, hide away, you know, not want to move. I have been actively trying to move because I know my brain needs it. It needs me to do the opposite to show it that it's safe, if it is in fact safe. So if you're feeling frozen right now, if you don't want to move, if you don't want to get up, if you're comfortable, consider the idea that your brain may be in survival mode. telling you and trying to control you into not moving, when in fact, safety check, there's no danger around. Maybe you can get up and move. Take up space. Explore your environment. And help teach your brain that you can move forward. You can get up and do things. You are safe. I've been having to tell myself that because I don't want to buy into it. So I've been moving. If I feel frozen, I've been moving. And that's one reason I'm chatting with you today, to let you know that I didn't know how to go about today's chat. It might be the worst one I've ever done. I don't know. I'm of course hoping that it's helped you. But this is part of me moving and unfreezing. I hope that me sharing with you this journey and you seeing this journey of me being here and then sometimes not, and then here and then not for a few weeks, that is not me not caring about you. That is real time, me having to do exactly what we're talking about on this channel. Conquering and reigning over everything that tries to hold you back, tries to hold me back. And sometimes that will not be what we want it to be. We won't be as consistent as we want to be, as we're striving to be. But I'm standing back up. And I didn't even 100% fall, and I'm very proud of that. But I think part of that is that I allowed myself to go through the process as best I could. And I want that for you too. And sometimes you might disappoint people. Sometimes it will not reflect who you actually are or who you want to be and what you want to be able to do. But to, when you feel ready, pick up more pieces. You are amazing. You have worth. Follow the light. Follow the positivity. And I'll see you next time.